Hi,
Hello.
good evening.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How
Good to
are
see
you?
you. I'm blessed. How are you?
Yeah,
Good to
okay.
see you. How was your day today?
Yes, been good.
It's good? All right.
Well, Lily and I, we went out with a friend and he had good news, so it became a very good day.
Ray.
Yeah, oh, Ray. He was here like 2 Sundays ago to join the class.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Hmm.
All right. Good news is always great news.
Yes.
Hello, Galaxy 5.
Who is Galaxy S9?
I don't know. Hello, Galaxy S9. Thank you for joining us.
I don't know, somebody's phone.
Hi. I'm great. Hi. Anson might not be able to join us tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you doing today, Lily?
I'm great. Really great today. Yesterday I did a meditation for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And I think there's a difference in 5 and 10. So I think 10 is better.
Well, remember I started you guys off at 20 minutes.
No. At about 7 or 8, I'm already feeling that I need to go do something.
The original challenge I gave you all was 20 minutes a day.
Okay.
So I can do 10 and 10?
The reason why you do 20 because it's going to take you that long to get your mind from resistant thinking to where you want to get to 5 minutes a day. So the actual purpose of the meditation is to get to 5 minutes a day. If you can do it in 5 minutes, then you don't have to do 20 minutes.
Oh.
But if you get distracted and can't focus past the 20 minutes, then the 5 minutes you won't be able to maintain it. You'll get it in spurts. Does that make sense?
Who's calling?
That's me, sorry.
Huh.
Hello, this is Clark.
Oh my gosh, they got me. Okay, all right. Is there any questions for me? We will get started.
No, not really. No,
Okay.
I just want to tell you that I did 10 minutes and then it felt pretty good for half a day.
What happened?
It felt better. There's an effect. If I do 5 minutes, there's not much effect. So when I did the 10 minutes, then after that I felt better, clearer and more focused.
Okay.
And yeah, so the day goes by, easier.
Easier, yes, absolutely.
Not so frustrating or cranky or anything. Very calm. Yeah. So I think I made the 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. And then and here's a practice. Just play with all of them.
Huh? Why?
Play with all of them.
Oh.
Because there's different settings that you can use to help different methods of meditating. So 10 minutes is good for you. Okay, if you notice you're doing good at 10 minutes, try your best to memorize that feeling and that place. That way, when you're not attached to the muse and you're away from home, you can automatically go there in your mind very quickly and easily. Because what happens is once you're able to go into that place of meditation, now you're able to pray and manifest. Now you're able to do the 5 steps easier. It makes that process much easier and much quicker.
Okay. So you mean we should, like, after meditation, then we do the 5 steps?
Absolutely.
Every day?
Every day.
I have so many things to ask for.
That's fine. You can have here, and the thing is, don't try to get it all. Just say, I got plenty of time to get exactly what I need in this moment for this specific time.
Correct.
And I'm gonna have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Remember yesterday we said, ask the question, this is what I want and this is why I want it.
Mm-hmm.
That's that place where when you get to the 5, you're automatically in step 1 asking, what do I want and why do I want it?
Okay.
That makes you really center and really think about and focus what you're desiring.
Okay. Okay. So when we ask, is it going to be very specific or is just general?
Very specific. When I'm meditating, when I'm meditating and praying and manifesting, God is in the details. So okay, let me say it this way. This might sound like a contradictory, but it's kind of like it varies. Here's why I say that. Every creation and manifestation is always going to be different.
Correct.
So in one moment, it might be done this way, and then the next moment done another way, or in another place, or another time, or whatever. So the practice is to get into always being in step 1 and step 5 or step 4 of asking what you really want. So in terms of getting details, I tell people until you get really good at it, don't get into details. Here's why. If you get into too much details before you learn how to be an ascended master, you'll get into doubt.
Yeah, I know.
So I let God deal with the details.
Mm-hmm.
God is in the details, okay? So now, if he's in the details, now it's easier for you to say, I believe that what I've asked for, I'm going to receive.
Okay.
Now I don't have to remember every little thing that I asked for. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The universe has a general idea of exactly what you're asking for. From the time that you say, this is what I want, and this is why I want it, it begins to manifest immediately.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Hey, Brother Ronnie.
Hi.
Brother Williams, how are you? Good to see you. So what that does is it takes you from step 1 to step 3 of that believing, and then you'll notice that once you get into believing that what you've asked for with no doubting, no fear, you'll start seeing that manifestation either physically elsewhere, like let's say there's a car and you're manifesting for a new car and there's a certain make and model and year of that car. As you get into the believing mode, you'll start seeing that type of car around town.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All of a sudden, you'll get a divine urge to say, you know what? I need to go to the dealer. And not just any dealer. I'm going to go to, let me search it. Oh, that's the one right there, dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi from
Hi
Canada.
from Canada.
Hi.
Sorry, we have a doggies. Hello, hello, hello. Here you go.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
I'm around the neighborhood, so I dropped by.
all right. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Then later on, I may need your help to print some documents.
Okay.
And I'm going to meet Rochelle.
Okay. Very good. All right. So, does that kind of help you understand?
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. So we're still adjusting, and like I told Melissa, is that we're not wrong, but we are adjusting, constantly adjusting, fine tuning. That's what she said.
Right. And here's the thing, make it fun. Make it fun by any means necessary. Make a game of it, make it fun, make it exciting, make it new, make it adventurous, blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
We are doing Alchemy, the way to spiritual transformation. So everybody already pretty much knows, or let me ask the question, does anybody know what alchemy is? It's what we're teaching in this lesson, okay? Remember I said we're in the way of transformation?
Yes.
Okay? So the way of transformation is really alchemy, okay? And I'm gonna teach you several ways of how you do this every single day. You do this every single day within these 5 steps, okay? I'm just showing you from a different perspective because you remember when I showed you guys or taught on the laws of the universe? We have the laws of the universe. So we're going to use about 2 of those laws, 3 of those laws actually, to help explain alchemy, because it's been a misconception and never been talked about, but we do it all the time because it's a change, it's a transformation of not only energy, but of things. In other words, a good example for women is if you get pregnant, what happens to your body? It transforms. Does it not? It goes through a transformation process so that it could carry the child, right? And then even after the baby is birthed, there becomes another transformation of the body, okay? So this transformation that we're talking about, one starts with the mind, okay? So everything we always deal with is always going to be dealing with love, and it's always going to deal with the mind. Does that make sense? So we'll be covering how is alchemy used spiritually in your daily lives, and I'll show you how all the masters in the Bible and every religious text use this. Buddha, every one of them use this, okay? How does group alchemy help you manifest? You hear me say, when 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, there's power, okay? So it's really the power of 2 and 3, okay, to help manifest, because if you're sad coming in the door and all of a sudden pastor cheers you up and now you're happy, now we're able to manifest easier. Does that make sense? But if you're in the slumps and I'm trying to manifest, now I got to deal with my positive energy and your negative energy. Okay, so now I'm dealing with polar opposite energies, okay? And then we'll discuss what does fear do to alchemy. Remember, alchemy only means transformation, okay? And then I'll show you, we just showed you one example of alchemy, the transformation of a woman's body. But then also metals, if you heat it up. But then when we think about this, when we're using the 5 steps, we are creating something, nothing into something. Would you agree? Because you did not have it tangible in the beginning. So now faith is the substance of the things that you're hoping for and the things that you're desiring. Okay? So now we show you how faith works with the alchemy to generate what you're desiring to manifest, the physical thing. Okay? The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. I'm not going to read that. The law of relativity, the law of polarity. These are all the things that we covered last time, right? Yes, Pastor? No, Pastor?
Yes.
I don't need to cover it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Now, if I can have some help reading some of this on page. Law of polarity. We will use divine spiritual laws. All right, we will use the divine spiritual laws to teach this lesson, and alchemy to further your understanding as a new ascended master. Does everybody have the teaching? Brother William, do you have the teaching?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Alchemy is the transformation of one element or way of being into another. In alchemy, we transmute the shadow of ourselves into usable energies that propel our growth forward. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. We harness the forces of the primordial subconscious in order to realize who and what we are. Alchemy is vital in this teaching of Master of Christ consciousness, and it enables us to work with all forces of the self and earth, bringing them into usefulness for the benefit of all. So when we talk about the 5-minute meditation, think about what you're doing. It says renew your mind, right? When you say renew your mind, in essence, you're doing what? Transforming your thinking from old habits to generate new habits and newer habits and newer habits, to generate newer experiences and newer experiences, to have that becomes your foundation of your life. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay.
Where did I leave off?
In Alchemy.
We do not judge or throw away anything. We harness and use everything, for everything is energy. Alchemy goes to the heart of all matter and sees it as energy, using it to transform the appearance of matter within. Alchemy uses whatever is available in any situation or environment, whatever is present to work with in order to transform.
Does everybody get that?
Yes.
Pretty direct, right? Okay.
Whatever you are presented with in any environment or relationship is perfect for the work of alchemy to occur. Alchemy can facilitate healing, yet is also the power of quantum leap forward. The magical and miraculous shift in perception that brings forth more of the deep underlying presence of love.
So what we mean by that is when you hear us talk about healing or the laying of the hands or speaking healing to someone, all we're doing is they have to be willing to receive healing. In other words, perfect timing puts us together for that person to get healed. Okay? And however it happens, so I'll give you one instance where I might meet a person and they say, well, Pastor, can you pray for me for healing because I have a 105 fever and I've had it for several days and they've given me every medication and nothing's broken. And I say a prayer and I lay my hand on his forehead and I merely say, you're healed. And all of a sudden the fever leaves the body. That is a transformation of healing. Mothers do this all the time. When your children get sick, what do you mothers do? You automatically pray. However that prayer is for your child to get whole and healthy again, right? So all of a sudden you get infinite wisdom on how to care for the child. That's a form of healing because now a whole body has transformed from healthy to what? Sick. Transmutation. You going from sick body back into a what? Healthy body. And science cannot figure this out. Not that it's bad, but they have to have the 5 facts. They have to have the see, touch, hear, taste, smell in order for it to be fact. But in essence, if everybody here right now this is present, if we all got together and say, you know what? We're going to pray for someone that we know specifically that has stage 4 cancer and they've been asking for healing and they receive and believe they've been healed, guarantee you all of us, that prayer will hit them and transmute that energy into positive where they won't even have a trace of cancer in their body. Have you ever heard of instances that have happened that way?
Yeah.
It happens in the world all the time because this is what we constantly practice. Because if you think about it, when you leave your house, and even in your house, well, technically not in your house, but when you leave your house, sickness is all around you. Yeah. But if you're a high vibration, sickness, disease, virus, and infection cannot exist or even enter your body. When you come into a high vibration with another and you raise their vibration, immediately they get healed.
Yeah, I agree because I have a condition of my spine is scoliosis. So it has a 45-degree curvature. And then it's supposed to be getting worse, but it did not, and it's getting better. And a few years back when I met a physician, and then so she told me, she said, do you feel pain, you know? I said, no, I'm okay. She said, it's either you're doing some high level work,
yep.
Be a very important person.
Yep. Ascended master, totally.
And I was getting like, no, I'm just ordinary.
She confirmed who you are as an ascended master. Because they told me the same thing. They told me I had a 45-degree curvature of my spine, and it was degenerative, and it would never get better, and I would have osteoporosis and what is that, arthritis or whatever?
Arthritis.
Yeah. And I said, no, not claiming that. And every day I spoke to my joints, and to this day I have not had any back problems.
We must be talking to the same doctor, all of us.
No.
Same thing.
Same thing.
From God. So we don't have any problem. It's just showing you that you need to be careful. That's it. It's just a reminder that we're just humans, I think.
Well, that's great, but the real thing is be careful what you think and be careful what you see. Because people come around and they say, oh, Lily, oh, Melissa, oh, I'm so sick. And then all of a sudden you don't heal them or correct that. And all of a sudden you say, wow, I better stay away from them. I might get sick.
Yeah.
But you just condition your mind of getting what? I'm going to get sick.
Okay.
All that 1%, and now the whole foundation crumbles.
Okay. There was one time where I think I kind of celebrated my so-called improper structure, because another physician told me, because of your curvature of your spine, you can eat whatever you want, you will never put on weight. Because it affects your digestive, you know, the food that you consume, you go direct out. So you will not retain any fats. So for a few years, I had gone crazy, you know.
Look at all the diagnosis, though. Everybody has their perception about your body. Think about that. Everybody has a perception about your body, but your body tells you exactly what it needs. The only time you go to the doctors is to tell them, I have a cough, I'm congested, think about it. Your body told you what the symptoms are. Thank God for doctors, because without doctors, half the people would be dead. But people don't realize they can heal themselves. Quickly.
Yeah. True.
But because people say, oh, I feel a cold coming on. Something as simple as that, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm sick. They stay sick, and then they stay sick, and then they stay sick. Oh, stay away from me, Pastor, I'm gonna get you sick. Give me a hug. Get me sick? I'm gonna hug this fever off of you.
I know.
Make sense? Deep alchemy occurs when one works with the deep shadow of the blazing light of the soul found in the darkest place. For from darkness comes what? Light. In this darkness, one learns to harness the energy of fear, of anger, of lust, of greed, and convert them to engines to drive forward courage, bliss, giving, and contentment. This magical alchemy is worked by consciously connecting to all the different parts of yourself as represented by different forces such as divas, angels, archangels, as the Christ Council. Because you guys are new ascended masters, you are part of the Christ Council. You're part of my Christ lineage family. This is we all connect together, and we all are in mutuality, even though certain things you might not understand when I teach you, but you understand it later and it resonates with your spirit, and then you go and share it with others.
Okay.
So we're all mirrors of each other. Got it?
Yes.
Anybody else want to read that part for me?
Okay. Faith can create alchemy in any situation. If you but trust yourself, any person or any relationship, any of your creations can be changed in a heartbeat. But to do this requires that you dwell into the deep places of the soul and connect with the situation or person through the heart. To do this, you have to trust this is possible. You have to be open to this possibility. You have faith in this possibility. Then signs, wonders, and miracles can happen. Step 4, receive of the creating and manifesting process.
So this puts you, once you understand this process, this puts you in the step 4. Everybody remember what step 4 is?
Yeah, believing.
Receive.
Receive, yeah. Now I'm getting the things that this is now the manifesting, this is the creating process. Okay? We put a lot of words in it, but it's actually the whole, very in the details of it, okay?
Okay.
All right, next one.
Group alchemy. We have taught you that when 2 or 3 are gathered, whether it be through ritual, intention, or group ceremonies, are the most rapid ways in this age for the process of alchemy to manifest. By uniting and calling these forces together in a coherent form, one steps into another reality where anything becomes possible. To enable this requires that one has an understanding of and is trained in these arts and sciences, which are means of bringing the underlying forces of the soul into direct manifestation.
Everybody get that? You all are in training, okay?
These arts and sciences can be seen as magical, or they can be seen as the natural order of things that the complex interacting synergies of creation weave together as a whole. These synergies of the web of interrelationships that create our world have very specific correlations of focus intent, prayer, light, and group merging that connects all the different realms of creation together in one place and one time.
Did everybody notice what happened yesterday when Anson started off and he gave his testimony, and then Gladys came in with her car story, and then Sister Washington came in with her car story? This is the process because Sister Washington broke down in tears. You couldn't hear her, but she was crying.
Oh, what?
Joy.
Oh.
She'd been praying, you heard her testimony, she'd been praying and asking for a mechanic for weeks or months or whatever, it's been a while. And as soon as she walked in the door, Gladys said the word mechanic, and she goes, I need a mechanic. Perfect timing. She knew where to come to get the answer to her prayer.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
Page 4.
Yes. This conscious interconnection in ceremony allows for transmutation of the lowest energies present and the stabilization of the highest energies present into a unified synergy that includes everything and all being present. In this alchemy, one experientially realizes that we are one. Okay, so this one has the capital letters. So we are one, we are the God.
You're the God.
Okay.
Everybody is the one. You're connected to everybody and everything. There's no separation. Everybody understand?
Yes.
So when you see the big one, that is all of us as a collective. When you see the small one, that's you as an individual.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
This oneness is the height of all alchemy. If fear is not cleared from your system, you can encounter forces beyond your control that can then possess you, such as paranoia, hostility, and suspicion. This prevents you from accessing the mysteries of Source Creator through alchemy and bringing subtle forces into form. Your life here on earth creates a setting, an organization of the people, places, partners, and work that you do all around you. You create this reflection in order for you to express truth. In this outpicturing, the outpouring of your mind's internal reference points into the external reference points into the external, you are automatically creating the space for love to penetrate and recreate you. Think on this for a moment.
Does everybody kind of get that? So this takes you back to the 10-minute meditation, the 5-minute meditation, to have that love always recreating you. That's why we practice the 30 days of unconditional love, remember? This is the outpouring of your mind of what you're creating. This becomes who you are. Okay?
Okay. So if the organization of your mind is everything around you, reorganizing everything around you can also reorder your own mind, your own internal process.
Watch this. For instance, if you're in an office space and you have a desk, rearrange your desk or rearrange your office space, rearrange your living room, rearrange the bedroom, rearrange things, rearrange your closet. Remember we talked about yesterday where if something was dusty, at low vibration, but as soon as you wipe it and clean it up, it vibrates really good. Same thing. Okay?
This may sound simple, and it is. However, to truly enact and focus pure love so that each action on the external rewires your internal. Each action on the external becomes ritual. Each action becomes a returning, a deliberate focus, plugging into Christ. Each action becomes transforming and reforming of yourself. Okay, this is how the Buddha used to walk. With such focus and attention on each movement that he was completely present with all things at all times and in this state of quiet bliss perpetually. Each motion was designed to bring awareness, to live in the consciousness of light moving through the body-mind.
Everybody get that? Okay.
Kind of. We heard about in the olden days when, you know, the holy people, when they walk on the ground, people can feel the peace that come onto them, you know. I mean, they're not beside, they're not very close, but when they walk past you, you kind of know their presence. And you can feel very calm and very peaceful.
When we are together, do you feel peaceful with my presence?
Yeah.
Of course. Yes. Of course.
But all of you are these persons. You're all of the Buddha. You're all of the Christ. You're all the masters.
But that's the thing. Nobody has ever reflected to us, onto us, right? And like Melissa and let's say all of us, we know each other. And so we are in the same vibration, so we don't feel anything.
But everybody else around you feels it.
No.
Yeah, but nobody came back with reflection saying that, hey, come near me, you know, I like to stay near you because you're so nice.
They do. You just don't realize it.
Well, yesterday I did. Yesterday, a parent came by and then, you know, we had a chat for 2 hours and then she kind of said that I could read her mind. And I was going like, no, I just happened to mention something that happened in her family that she hasn't told me. Because I want her daughter. I want her daughter to be hardworking in studying. Otherwise, you're gonna wash toilet for life.
Right.
And yesterday, the mother told me the father is working as a janitor.
See that? But they
no,
never told you that.
No, I'm sorry. And she said, no, but you caught her attention. And the daughter was telling Mom, I don't want to wash toilet. I don't want to.
Right. Exactly. What's your question?
Okay, my question is, okay, this paragraph is all about only words, okay, words. But
which paragraph?
This is how the Buddha used to walk with such focus and attention on each moment that was completely present with all things at all times. And in this state of quiet bliss perpetually.
How did he do it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what
how did he do it? Because we just got through talking about it. What is one practice I told you guys to do for 20 minutes a day?
Meditation. You see, when he walks, he focus when he walks, right? His path.
He was one with everything on his path because he was the path. I am the path. You are the path. So when I showed you the meditation with the muse while we were together, and you heard the birds, right? I was in what? Meditation. I was one with everything. So my intention was I was still in a state of quiet and bliss perpetually. Even while communicating with you, I'm still meditating now. So even when I leave the house, I'm still in that place. That's why I say that when things in life happens, you don't overreact to it. So it trains your mind to not resist or to stop that resistant thinking of when things happen. So when you're out, you're what? Peace. When you have that peace, there is nothing that can shake you. So when you're walking in that place of peace, you're doing the exact same thing with such focus and intention on what? Love and peace, because you don't want to leave that place. It feels good. Nobody wants to leave their house and be looking over their shoulder and is somebody going to rob me, and is somebody going to steal my car, and is somebody going to shoot me or stab me or blow me up or whatever. You walk in perfect peace because you're raising the vibration of that place. Remember I said every place that you step upon, you have dominion over. But you have to be in that focused place of peace. But if you don't meditate, then you become reactive to everything that happens to you. So the boss might say something mean to you, and then you start, oh my God, I'm going to file a lawsuit.
And then she's going to call Lily.
It becomes drama.
Yeah.
Right? Nowhere in there was drama. So every movement, in other words, when we say movement, everything moves. Everything moves. So in that movement, you're aware consciously, I'm always in peace. Because in that moment, it's going to change. Just like if you leave your bedroom to go into the kitchen, you can feel the difference in the atmosphere. Even if you leave your house and you have your house at 68 degrees, and then you go outside and it's 78 degrees, you're going to feel the difference, aren't you? Big difference. Idea is to maintain that balance. Neutrality. This is neutrality. That's that place of neutral. You understand? All right. Yes, no? I get it?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. The light moves the body, not the body, the light. The light does the walking, the talking, and the focusing through you. This is an intense state of consciousness to exist in when you truly drop into it. It is being so present, it is similar to exploding in the sheer nowness, the eternal birthing moment by moment of all life. So this is talking about being at the present, right?
Yep. That light is your third eye, your consciousness.
Correct.
It's how you were able to tap into this person's personal life without them ever mentioning it. You knew exactly what to say to them.
I didn't know. It wasn't me. It's just like it just popped out.
Yeah, it popped out because it was put in you because you're the master.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I also felt that when I used the meals, meditating, shutting down, right? So if I can not let my mind wander, so I will just focus in the front, I have more birds.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right?
Because that's the pure focus intention that you want. And you train your mind that way that when you leave the house, you carry that, and now you can heal, now you can manifest, now you can bless, now you can do those things. Now you become the sign, wonder, and miracles. And people know it or recognize it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's why we don't get the feedback.
That's okay. It's not, you don't need the feedback. Feedback is for people who have to reassure themselves of what they're doing is correct. You don't need it.
But
A master is self-validated. I don't need anybody to validate me.
Yes.
Okay. So can we heal ourselves?
Yeah.
Because even the master might fall sick, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can heal. But the thing with the master, you heal yourself very quickly and easily.
How?
Yeah.
By speaking it, by thinking it, by feeling it, by however means you want to do it, because you're the master. You decide. There is no right or way wrong to doing it because you're the master.
Okay. Wow.
In other words, you set the standard to how you want to heal it. In other words, when I tore my Achilles heel, I was boo-hooing for 2 years until I finally said, why are you boo-hooing? Heal yourself. within a very short amount of time, it healed right up. I didn't have to go do surgery. I didn't have to do physical therapy. I didn't have to do anything other than what body told me to do. Like you said, popped in my mind. Go do this. Go do that. Go do that. Speak to it. Oh, I love the way you hurt. Oh, thank you for hurting.
Okay. All right.
And then the cells hear you and they obey. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
God is into details. This is where riches come in. Riches, attention, intention, and focus. Mastery here is not unlike being a gardener. You create the garden within your own mind, and you pluck out by the roots that which no longer serves the purpose of the garden. Mm-hmm. You tend to and organize the garden expressing beauty. You remove the weeds and notice through deep attention what makes on things grow and another perish.
One thing grows.
One thing grows, sorry.
Yeah, one thing. Okay, so this is talking about in the heart.
Your mind. The garden is your mind.
So there's good things and bad things going on, right?
Yes. In other words, the weeds is the bad things, the negative things that pop up. Oh my God, why'd I have this feeling? And then I take that emotion to that feeling. And nothing is around me. You think about a person who treated you bad and all of a sudden that thought and he becomes the value or they become the value. And then you feel it in your body. And then that becomes the energy that you project.
Okay.
So that's when we have to pluck out, right?
That's the plucking out. So you have to pluck out the weed of that bad thinking or the perception of that person ever being evil or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in love with that person.
Okay.
So this is where that comes in. Okay?
Right. The garden is your mind. With ritualistic intention, awareness, focus, and direction, one can penetrate the very object of the mind, the very thought form that choke your garden, the very ways the brain is organized, and is organizing the world and perception around you. You can literally pluck out things that you see in your environment around you. If you do one, then the other can also happen if done in the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
So what you need and pluck out?
Remember, if it doesn't feel good in your body, change the feeling. Satisfied, not satisfied. That's the plucking. Is it satisfying? Yes. Oh my God, that's a good garden. If it's not satisfied, let's change the thought. Let's pluck it out. Let's not give it momentum.
Oh, okay.
Let's not grow the weeds where all of a sudden now I'm thinking about this person who did me wrong, and all of a sudden now I'm thinking about all the bills that I owe, and then all of a sudden you see what I'm saying? I start building up things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do that. Those are the weeds that you have to pluck out, because if not, that becomes your reality, and then you'll see it physically in your finances. That's who are healthy when they start saying, I'm sick after seeing somebody else sick, they get sick because they didn't pick out that thought.
Okay. All right. So what do you need to weed out? What do you need to pluck out with full focus and intention? Pluck them out with power. Recognize the placement that these people, objects, and feelings have within your own mind.
Don't let them occupy space that does not serve you. If that person is not around, don't be giving them thought. And if they are on your mind, send them love. As much love you, I can't love them back. They did me this way, did me that way, cussed me out, treated me like a dog. Love him anyway. If you don't love him, how will he ever see love?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Meditate on this process. Approach it and with full ritual focus, pluck it up. If it is not in the same room, go to the room where you can pluck the object within out. How does it afterwards? Can you see your environment has changed? So it means that things in your environment, you can do that, pluck it out.
Meaning when you pluck it up, meaning you don't see, you try not to see it.
No, it'll go away. It will go away by any means necessary.
So
You have that much power, and you have to realize you have that much power.
So we have to do that 5 process.
You have to do the 5 process.
We want it to remove.
We want that thing to disappear.
I want to remove, but I want it removed in love. See, that's the thing you're missing. People want to remove because I don't like it. And that's fine, but you didn't love it. It was designed to teach you something. Everybody didn't get that, huh?
No, it's so deep.
Yeah. So that's like we said, we don't like the smell, but we actually we love the smell with love.
If you don't love it, it will produce more of that you don't like.
You remember?
Yeah. So Melissa's house, her kitchen has a certain smell that she didn't like. So I told her it's because you keep saying that I don't like this smell, I don't like this smell, so the smell stay on.
So I think even if after the smell is not there, she still think that I smell it somehow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you can bring yourself to love that smell or not, but in the first place you have to neutralize your thinking, right?
That's it. That's so it's not deep thinking.
Yeah.
This is not deep. Don't think that what we're teaching is deep. It's not deep. It's just a process that you have to go through because we've been taught other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been picked up a lot of habits. Oh, that smells bad. Of course. And we're not telling a lie. Of course it smells bad. But if I keep saying it smells bad, then I train my mind to say, okay, I'm only smelling this smell. So when I'm trying to eat in my kitchen and I've got my delicious faux soup.
No, you don't smell the soup. You smell the other smell instead.
And then watch this. After being outside of my house all day long, when I walk in the house, what do?
Yeah.
I'm looking for that smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the kitchen, because I trained my mind to do that subconsciously because it's
Train your mind for that smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are sensitive to their smell.
Yeah.
My wife smells stuff that I don't even smell. I say, I think you part dog. I don't know. But you got a nose that's so incredible that nobody smells it until it actually happens. And I go, how you smell that? Are you serious? I would have missed that a country mile.
Well trained. Well trained.
Absolutely. All right, the shadow side. The core of the shadow side of humans wishing to embody faith and loyalty to love is fear. Cynicism, distrust, defensiveness, blind faith, and blinding loyalty to someone or something which can stop you from evolving further as a new ascended master. Cynicism is when we have little faith and little experience of soul. It is when we fundamentally have no trust in the goodness of others and humanity and feel limited to the body mind only. Cynicism lasts without hope, without goodness, and selfish. Cynicism does not believe in God, mystery, the unseen, or the unknown. It only measures what is rational and can be scientifically proven and merely nods to God as maybe being outside of us in some distant heaven, and that while we may have a soul, it is never something to be relied upon. Cynicism is living in a closed attitude, not open to change. We meet people like that all the time because when you start teaching this teaching, especially for me, it's always a debate with Christians. Where is that in the Bible? Where is this in the scriptures? Blah, 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 blah. So it's always that pushback, okay? Mm-hmm. Lack of faith means that we do not experience that reality as loving at all, perfect in its unfolding, no matter what it looks like. So life from this perspective is lived as self-serving, cruel, and hard, where we are victims of the world's event. Without faith, one sees that life is only ego. Life becomes full of doubt, suspicion, hopelessness, and frustration. One cannot accept the good things that happen without feeling that there's a catch somewhere, that life can really be this good. We've all met people like that, that if you have good intentions, they think It's too good to be true.
Yes.
What's the catch?
Yes.
Okay? Even when experience of the soul of a bigger reality arise, one who is lacking in faith cannot believe it, stating, did that really happen? Here's what we mean by that. When each of y'all begin to create and manifest and it's going really good, you go, wow, did that just really happen? It becomes unbelievable to you. You gave, Lily, you gave the example about Anson, and you gave a 3-day period about helping him find his apartment. Remember that?
Yes.
Look how fast that was. There was no resisting to what you wanted to accomplish. There was not a force on the planet that was going to stop you from getting your baby what he wanted. And out of your house.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when you go, some people say, does that really happen? Or some people say, you know what? I created that, and that's what I'm designed to do.
Yeah. So when we told some of our friends, and they were going like, really? It happened like within 1 day? I said, yeah, it has to.
Right.
Because we become homeless.
Right. And because they're looking at the long process, being a realtor, they're looking at the process. This is going to take you weeks to months. Months, really. You got it done in a day. We can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
In your mind, you're going, no, we're not going to be homeless, so we should get in the flow of the fire.
I think if why it can be created in such a short time is because we are pushed, because we're short of time.
No.
No, huh? They don't think so?
No, not at all. We're not even living by time. The reason why you get things fast to you is because you're not resisting it. You don't have all the other monkey thoughts clogging that thought. In other words, this is all I see, and it is good, it's lovely, it's beautiful. And I can look at Melissa and say, oh, she's good, she's beautiful. And I can look at Liddy, but I've never taken my eye off of what's good. But notice, I still took my eye off it, but I stayed what? Positive. I stayed in the flow. This is what you have to practice in the meditation to get your mind to be in that place.
Okay.
So when things happen to you quickly and easily, one, you know how it did, and you can go, wow, I love when I create that fast. Thank you, God.
Yeah. Yes.
And even if it takes a long time and then you get it, you go, man, thank you. You don't say it took a long time.
It's okay.
Right? You just have to catch up with it. Okay?
Okay.
Question, something to eliminate it, to cut it off from growing and blooming into a deeper experience instead of exploring it with an open, curious attitude. Fear. Cynicism and lack of fear arises from fear. Fear is contraction that keeps you believing that you're just the body, just the emotion, just the mind. Fear is ultimately fear of love, of losing one's most precious commodity, the ego. In other words, people don't want to lose their identity, so they don't want to surrender. They don't want to let go. They don't want to give up. They feel like if I let go, I'm going to be considered weak. So now people will take my weakness or my kindness for weakness. So now they don't want to let go of that precious ego. Not realizing nobody can affect you except for who? You. Okay? This kind of fear is based on a fundamental insecurity that you do not trust and are not held or supported by existence. The world becomes a dark place in this perception, and you feel that you do not have the strength to cope with it. A lot of people who have post-traumatic stress disorder deal with these types of feelings. People who go to war and are traumatized, people who are in car accidents, people who have been in those type of traumas, they experience this if they have not self-healed themselves. They'll stay in that fear where if something traumatic happened, they'll go in a restaurant and sit near all the exits and look at all the exits to find an escape route.
Oh.
That's how the mind works with these people. Fear feels powerful and is often met with a strong attempt to to stop breathing in an attempt to stop the feeling. Have you ever felt that? When you get scared, all of a sudden you're again to try to stop that feeling from going because your heart's going too fast and your tunnel vision and everything's speeding up and you're going, I don't like this feeling.
I think that kind of happen when you are up there on the roller coaster. They almost drop you and you can't go like, no!
And you're afraid of that dip? Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is that, okay? It's that feeling that contracted fear paralyzes you into feeling as though you are ruled by forces bigger than you. Think about fear, what fear does. It enables you. When a person is fearful, they contract. It's the fight or flight.
Yeah.
Normally, if they're backed in the corner, it's the fight. If they can't fight you, they go outrun you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All is blame on some of the forces outside. It's Joe's fault. It's Tom's fault. It's everybody's fault except for my fault. Okay? Others in the world can appear as fearful, cannot be trusted, and thus the support of the universe is denied. Here's another good example. When we had 9/11 happen, everyone became afraid of Muslims.
Yes. Yes.
Globally. And that fear still exists right now. Behind that fear, instead of this is my brother, this is my sister. That was a group of people that did something horrible, absolutely, but that's not the whole of these.
Yes.
Yes.
But because of that one incident, everybody's now fearful. Now you have all these incidents of hate crimes behind this fear. Imploded fear is projected out as judgment and lack of trust. This is where hate crimes come in. This is where racism and things like that happen. Fear is a key force in the ascending spirals of evolution, for evolutionary openings and opportunities in our lives can elicit fear. Fear becomes a marker of what we have to travel into in order to grow and expand. So fear and truth becomes our friend. This is why you always hear me say, God did not give you fear, but power, love, and sound mind. So we created fear. We created fear.
Yeah.
God, creator, did not give us fear because he's fearless. And if he's fearless and he made us in his image and his likeness with all power, you can't have fear. When people are, oh, pastor, I'm afraid of heights. No, you're afraid of falling, hitting the ground, and dying.
Yes.
Yes.
Fear equals death at the end of all fear.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's where the lack of trust comes in. Pastor, I got to know what's down the dark hall because I need you to turn on the light for me. Or better yet, run down there and scream what's down there and then I'll come. Right? Number 8, verse 8, page 8. Vulnerability and self-responsibility allows us to let go into this place that denies trust and denies love. To let yourself go into fear with the courage to feel all of what you're going to find there means that we have to our own self-created barriers to love and trust of life. This owning allows the fear to no longer be projected outside into any relationship, situation, or person, allowing you to drop down deep into the wounds that created fear. Here's what we're saying. A lot of people get divorced based on, oh, I think he or she is cheating on me, and the person only working extra hours to support the family. But because that person is at home watching TV all day, watching soap operas, the
mind is wandering.
And they want to project that character. Then they go out there and check the odometer. Where you been? When you left the house, your odometer was this. You went 25 miles over. Who you went to go see? I've known people to do that.
That is the power of suggestion of TV dramas.
Yeah, absolutely. Too much time, but they took that perception into the relationship and destroyed the relationship.
Yeah.
Based on something that wasn't even true.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a gut instinct that the woman got, because the woman will know if the man is cheating. He can lie all he wants. That woman will know in her heart, in her gut, in her intuition if he's cheating, because he will do something. It will pop in her spirit. Something wrong. You out of character. Something ain't right with you, because we ain't balanced.
No. Why when I ask you a question, you don't look me into the eye? There must be something wrong about you.
What's wrong about you? I see you. What's wrong with you? Why are you looking away? You look guilty. You see what I'm saying? Didn't come from the gut, but it came from the television. Two different scenarios. Two different scenarios.
Yeah.
Fear.
Okay.
Fear of you're going to leave me and love somebody else.
Yes.
I think it has.
I don't want to be alone.
I think there's something to do with low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem. I don't feel good about myself. I have to watch something else to put value on it to make me feel good instead of validating myself. No self-care, no self-love.
I think this kind of people have too much time, too much free time in their own hands, and they don't use it efficiently or productively. So that's the outcome.
Well, that's what we talked about. Remember, that's what the lesson yesterday was, using time correctly.
Yeah.
Little mind that tell lies to your vision, that television is what it does, and people take on that perception and try to live that out. Destroys marriages. And then they get into another relationship and they try to play that same thing over and over and over. And you see it constantly. Or self-esteem, where the husband comes in or the wife comes in, oh, I love you. Oh, I don't love myself. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm ugly. My hair is too short. My hair is too long. My nose is too big. My eyebrows are too thick. My lips are too big. What? But I love the way you are. Why? Don't they say that?
Yes, yes.
In their mind, they're going, why do you love me? I don't love me. How in the world can you love me and I don't love me? So now you're lying to me, you liar.
He's so good, right?
Trying to mess with my mind. And then they build up a perception based on the man saying, I truly love you the way you are. Because this lesson, alchemy, is about transformation. The body's going to change. You work out, you lose weight. You don't work out, you pick up weight. Simple as that. So it changes. Some men like big girls. Some men like skinny girls. Some women like tall men. Some women like short men. But I love you. Why? I don't love myself. You see my nose? My nose is too big. I look like Snuffleupagus. I'm like an elephant trunk. Look at this. Look at this thing. You see?
Yes. But that is also because they compare themselves to all those reality TV shows where people are always perfect. You know, there's an article saying that bankruptcy rates in North America, including Canada and US, went up by at least 5% in the past few years. It's because people who see all those reality shows where they live such a lavish life and they want to emulate that.
Absolutely. And we do it with the people around us in our job. Oh, he's handsome. Oh, she's pretty. I want to look like them. I want to be on the magazine. I want to look like the model. And then they see themselves every day in the mirror, but don't love themselves in the mirror.
What? Stick a picture there. Stick a picture there.
Right? All right. So these fears dissolve through forgiveness when faith starts to deepen in our lives, start to be felt wounds and blocks bubble up from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind, bringing into full awareness. Forgiveness of self, allied with humility, helps to dissolve the. Forgive yourself. Tell yourself it's okay to have a big nose. It's okay to be short. It's okay to be bald-headed. I'd rather be bald-headed because I didn't want the little Caesar. I didn't want a little bald spot back here. I didn't want that. It don't look attractive to me. I didn't want that, so I just shaved it off. I can get some miracle grow and grow it out, or grow it myself. I can heal it and lay hands on it. Do that. But I don't want to. I don't want that because I don't want to cut my hair. Lazy.
Pastor, people are really spending too much time valuing about how they look.
Yep. Vanity.
Okay. When you're not supposed to be spending so much time doing that, I think that's not necessary.
It's not necessary because here's what happened. As soon as somebody says something negative about them, after they done prep for 20, 30, 40 minutes, and somebody says something wrong, what happens to their ego? What happens to their esteem? That person's nasty, mean, they don't like me. Why would they say something like that? Because you don't feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
So now you're offended by every little thing, even I love you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't even say I love you without being offended.
Yeah, you like.
Transforms.
Then we can tell them that God has made you perfect, so or however you look like, you're perfect.
But they're not going to do that.
Accept is given to you.
Right. But here's the thing. Instead of saying that, because I had to learn this hard way. I used to say that, and I come to find that was a reminder to them. So I had to stop saying it. I wouldn't even bring it up. Wouldn't even mention anything about their clothes, what they look like. They'd have to say, Pastor, I got eyeshadow. Oh, yeah, that looks so good. I didn't want to say nothing, but I was wondering, there was something about you. I just didn't want.
Seriously, got people ask you that?
Absolutely. I had it happen. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my, wow.
Yep. So but they have to be willing to change. But at the end of the day, they start feeling better about themselves because I didn't project any judgment toward them. Every time they would try to say something negative, I said, man, you good. You're blessed. You can lose that weight. Just call me. Just let me know. I didn't try to offer any, you see what I'm saying, expert. Try to go fix them. I was just there to support them. Because when I leave, you got to be self-supported. Come stay with me. I got my own family. Right?
But I always say that, oh, you look nice. I say your hair is just perfect for you, or whatever, say something, which is true.
Which is true, absolutely. Yeah. And you keep doing that. But what do they, when they say, no.
So they say, really, Melissa?
It's amazing how people are shocked on a compliment. You look good. What? You know why? Because they spent. That's not right. That's not right. In the mirror. In the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you tell them that it's right, they don't believe it's right.
Yeah.
Oh, Melissa.
Another really? You think so? But when they do that, look what they're doing. And you have to be careful because now they're becoming dependent on you.
Oh, dear. Then how?
Just leave it right there. Absolutely.
Oh.
Switch subjects.
Oh, okay.
Give them that little bit because you don't want to keep doing it over and over and over and over. Give them a little bit, change subject, move on. Then when you see them again, get a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right, let's jump down to acceptance, page 9. Y'all get the feel of this, right? Acceptance.
The foundation of faith arises from acceptance. We no longer fight or struggle with what we believe should be, but accept life as it is and begin to act rather than react. in ways that bring improvement. Trust is faith in what is unseen, an inner knowing that tells us that there's purpose and perfection to life as a whole.
All right, we're going to jump down to the end because it's kind of a long one. We'll jump down to page 11 because you get the idea of acceptance, right? Everybody knows what acceptance is, so we don't have to go into the whole thing of it. If what you are loyal to lies in expectation that others conform to what you feel is right, and that they act and behave in this way, then you're not trusting the perfection of loving truth that is always at work in every person's life, leading them along the path. To try to meet demands and expectations makes you a prisoner to these very same expectations. When these expectations are not met, then an explosion can occur. The facade of niceness crumbles and anger comes out. At this point, you are ready to dive deep into what you truly value and discard what you thought gave you value before. In this, the struggle dissolves for you to relax in faith and trust to let life flow through you. You let the breath breathe you. You let life live you, and there is no longer any control. Life and love can now enter your surrendered heart. Everybody get that?
So we should not have any expectations? Too much expectation?
No, there's a lot in the middle. Read in the middle, it'll cover that.
Yeah.
For time purposes, it was too long, but I was trying to get it where everybody could understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So on your own time, if you can, just kind of, in other words, on page 10 at the very bottom, believing we do not have these. Okay, when you see, let me go up to the top. Having faith that God lies in all things, all programs of consciousness within all beings allows us to connect with God. Within them, no matter how buried their spark of love seems to be. In faith, we give others a chance to be selfless, to be considerate, to be kind, even if they do not act like that yet. In faith, we know they will at some point in time because we know that this quality exists in everyone. This connection comes from the heart, you speaking to another's heart from your own heart, and this true communion happens and all is heard. To have faith is to connect to the innate qualities of what it means to be a good human being, a good man or a good woman. This means that you know within yourself that there is always something fundamentally good, something fundamentally trustworthy that is always there, always contactable. When you are cynical, you leave a part of your human experience of relating, part of your uniqueness, which stops you from enjoying a true relationship with yourself and others. Cynicism is delusion. It is not part of our innate nature, as it stems from ignorance about the nature of life. The more we notice and become aware of these distortions, the more we are able to constantly value love and then choose anew in every moment. Believing we do not have these qualities of faith, of goodness, of strength, leads us to become hollow and fearful. We lack a depth of solidity, kindness, and roundness of character that no matter how many spiritual experiences we have, we still stay in subtle, basic mistrust, not valuing and honoring the deepest part of ourselves. Everybody kind of get that? That kind of fits the gap up a little bit?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, no, maybe so. If not, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
All right. If there be none else, we're going to close out with prayer. We thank you. We love you. We adore you. We pray as we lay down this evening, your head protection around us. We ask for peaceful dreams for ourselves and our family. We pray for health and healing in our bodies, our families, our neighbors and our neighborhood, those in high and low government places. And we thank you for this coming together, that you continue to teach us as we grow as ascended masters. We may teach others as they awaken. And we thank you for listening to us and hearing all our prayers. And we thank you for doing the work. This is our prayer that we offer up to you. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. All right. We love you guys.
All right.
Love you
Good night.
guys.
Have a good day. Thank you, Brother Williams.
All right.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
Galaxy 59, who left us. That's nice.